Welcome to the game. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Nikco Riesgo. Nikco, how are you?
What's up, Russ?
And Mike Augello, how are you?
Russell, I am fine.
That's good. All right, so let's talk a little baseball, and I guess we'll get started with some of the action that's going on tonight. The Phillies are already down to the Braves. Aaron Nola just doesn't seem to be a great pressure pitcher. He was better 2 years ago. I'm not sure what's happened to him, Nikco, but the Phillies lose this, it's over. I think it's over anyhow. But Nola used to be the ace. He's not the ace anymore.
He was the ace until they got Zach Wheeler, and Zach Wheeler showed him what a real ace is supposed to do. It's supposed to go out there every 5 days and it's supposed to win the game.
No question. Mike, what's your feeling?
The whole purpose of getting Wheeler was to have a 1-2 punch with Nola, and if Nola isn't capable of doing that, then that really is a flaw in the Phillies' ability to win consistently. And in that division, I mean, it seemed that nobody really wanted to win that division this year, and it was just the team that was able to get hot at the right time, and it wasn't the Phillies.
Yeah, it's really not the Braves either. Like, they didn't get hot at the right time because they were hot and then they weren't. The Mets were in first for like 103 days. The Mets have set yet another record of futility, the longest hold on first place and then finish under 500. So that's something where, I guess the Mets could be happy about. But the fans are not happy. And, Nikco, they said yesterday that, Sandy Alderson's coming back. And so with Sandy Alderson coming back, it's going to be a very narrow group as to who they bring in to run baseball operations now.
Now, why are they bringing him back? Obviously, they want another below 500 season. I mean, Sandy Alderson has been with the Mets for over, 10 years now, and we've seen nothing out of him. And why they continue to be loyal to him, I have no clue, because he does not know how to win.
No, I agree with that. And go ahead, Mike.
Well, Russ, I mean, and we've discussed this before. We have the feeling that Steve Cohen had to hire or keep Sandy Alderson around because that was he was the guy who would put the brakes on the big spending. Now, that's never been confirmed, but
no.
I think that him coming back for another year is proof that was the case. Now, does that mean that they're not going to hire somebody like Theo Epstein as a president of baseball operations? No, because Steve Cohen can throw, $10 million a year at him and complete control of baseball operations. But I don't think he's going to want to do it.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll want to do it with somebody there that could question his authority. I think that's a problem for that. So unfortunately, I see the Mets going for Billy Beane instead, and
they work together.
I would be surprised if they get anybody better than that.
Yeah, and they work together in Oakland, and obviously Billy Beane is a former Met first round draft pick, made famous by the movie Moneyball. But yeah, I mean, you could see by how Oakland has been successful to a point, and I just don't know whether New York fans will accept that sort of high-level mediocrity that's been the case in Oakland.
I don't think they have a choice. I think that's just sort of the way it's going. But speaking of high-level mediocrity, let's talk about the New York Yankees, who got hot there for a little bit, Mike, and then Marcus Semien hit his 44th homer this evening, breaking Davey Johnson's record. I remember the year Davey Johnson hit 43. It's a lot for a second baseman. He hit it off Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's losing 4-0 in a game they needed to win. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, they've won 7 in a row, so I wouldn't call them high-level mediocrity. And honestly, I look at the Toronto Blue Jays and this bunch of spoiled bitches on the bench putting on this jacket. It's just stupid. But, I mean, the thing that the Yankees have to be concerned with is this is the second time in a row that Cole has gotten tuned up by the Blue Jays, and the thing is that he seems to be among a long line of, high level starters who, if they don't have it in the first, if they don't get off to a good start in the first inning, they're in deep trouble. And he gave up 2 runs on the Simeon home run, and he's just like, when he is on, you see it from the very beginning of the game. Tonight, didn't have his slider, didn't have his changeup, trying to beat them with 99-mile-an-hour fastballs, and they're sitting on it. But I would rather be in the Yankees' position right now than the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, they're behind Seattle right now. So I think the Yankees, if they take 2 of 3 in this series, they're in.
Well, it's going to be interesting and possibly difficult for that to happen. And the Red Sox are beating the Orioles, Nico. So this still has a lot of runway left. This race.
It does, and I really like the way the Mariners are playing. I mean, they gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and it was like nothing. They were going to come back and win the game, regardless of giving up the runs. So they're hungry, and that's how you have to play to end the season. Also, I love the Cardinals. The Cardinals are on a run that I've never seen in a long time. Almost 17 wins, and if they win today,
thanks for going Metro.
Yeah.
Every time you.
Yeah, that's the Cardinals are the hot team, Mike. They got hot when they started beating the Mets, and the hot streak has continued. And so you look at that and you say, does that mean they're going to go all the way? No, I don't think so. But nobody thought they were making the playoffs a month ago.
No, I mean, I heard somebody compare the hot streak that they're on to the hot streak that the Colorado Rockies were on. I think it was 2007 when they got to the World Series against the Red Sox. The Cardinals have been impressive this year. After the trade at the trade deadline, they loaded up on veteran pitchers. They brought in Jay Happ. They brought in John Lester to join Adam Wainwright. That stabilized their pitching staff. That's spectacular, big moves like Scherzer, but just guys who could pitch. Their bullpen has been fairly solid all year, and they're getting the hitting now. So everything has gone right.
Started to hit late.
Right. Arenado as well, and
Arenado as well. Yep.
And Tyler O'Neill, I think, has 31 or 32 home runs. So are they going to win the World Series? Probably not. I mean, in a league with the Dodgers and the Giants, I think it's going to be tough for anybody other than them to win. But you have to give the Cardinals credit; they got hot at the right time, and now they've won 16 or 17 in a row, and they're going to be in.
Yeah, no question they're going to be in. And once again, Yadi Molina will be in the playoffs and have a chance to rip some other teams' fans' hearts out. But it won't be the Mets because the Mets aren't making it. Also, let's talk about the Brewers, who are going to take their division. That sounds like good news for the Blue Jays by the sound that Mike made.
Oh, no. As soon as you said the Brewers, I know the story that's coming up, and it's just laughable.
No, I don't have a story. I just was going to if you know the story, say it, because I was just going to say they're in first place by 6 and they're safe.
Well, yeah, but they lost their closer, Williams, for the season because in the celebration of, I guess they clinched at least a tie. He's out for the year because he punched a wall and broke his hand. So, the accomplishment. Yeah. So the accomplishment of clinching the division or clinching a playoff spot has been tempered by that. And I haven't seen much of the Brewers this year. I'm more of an American League, somebody who concentrates more on the American League, but they have a pretty solid team. But when you lose your closer a week before the playoffs, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no question, you're in trouble. And Nico, any thoughts about the Brewers?
I love the Brewers. Before the COVID hit, I had went to spring training and I met and I got a chance to sit down with Council, the manager there, and I told him, I said, I see the Brewers. It's their time. I mean, I see that they are putting together some good young players, and I really like that shortstop that they brought in mid-season, Adam S. And he really provided that spark. They wouldn't be where they're at without him, that's for sure. And he's been hurt lately, and like I said, they've been in a slump lately. So without him in the lineup, they've got no chance.
Well, they definitely.
And Nico, while I got you, hold on, Mike. And Nico, while I got you there, what's your thoughts on Dodgers Giants? Who's the better team?
I'm going to say the Giants this year. And, you know, I've been writing my article for the publishing, and it's been taking me a while to publish it because I have the article basically is the Dodgers will not repeat. And during my research, I've been looking at who's the last team to repeat, and it was like the 114-win Yankees of 1998. They didn't only win it twice. They've won it 3 times, 98, 99, and 2000. And looking over that roster, they were completely loaded. They got nothing but Hall of Famers. And the Dodgers almost can match them player for player when you're looking at Scherzer and someone like Clemens, and you're looking like Kershaw and maybe David Cohn, and someone like Buehler and Dwight Good in the matchup. And then you've got, you know, all the hitters. They basically match up, the Dodgers hitters and the Yankee bombers. But the difference is that I found is the Mario Rivera. All right, the Dodgers do not have Mario Rivera. They do not have that closer that can just nail it down, and everybody knows the game is over. And that's why I'm going to say no. I think either the Dodgers are going to get beat by the Cardinals or the Giants. One of the two. They're not going to make it to the World Series. And if they do make it, they're not going to win.
Okay, Mike, now you can give your thoughts on all of it.
Well, just going back to the Brewers, I mean, they definitely benefited from the fact that Tampa Bay was dumping Adames because they had their star shortstop prospect come up. So they were in the right place at the right time. I mean, the National League playoff situation, I mean, when you have one of these two teams, I mean, San Francisco is second behind, I think, the Blue Jays for home runs, and nobody would have ever predicted that. But
no,
either them or the Dodgers, you know, potentially losing in a wild card situation. I mean, you know, right now, San Francisco's got 103 wins, the Dodgers have 101, so it could be Dodgers Cardinals in the wild card game next week, and that's, you know, the Cardinals are the hottest team in the National League, and the Dodgers, I mean, they'll probably pitch Scherzer, but nothing's guaranteed.
Scherzer or Buehler, one of them, yeah.
Or even Kershaw. I mean, Kershaw is back, I do believe. So, but yeah, I mean, depending on what their records are against the Cardinals, but that's not going to be an easy out. You know, Cardinals going to LA if LA holds, or if San Francisco holds on to the West.
No way the Dodgers throw Kershaw in the one game against the Cardinals unless they just want to lose.
No, I think Nico, I think he shook off that that loser label last year because he did pitch pretty well in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think that's fair. So, moving right along, let's talk about the two worst teams out there. And that's the Arizona Diamondbacks have a chance to be worse than the Orioles this year. I'm not sure any of us saw that coming. They have 50 wins. The Orioles have 51, although the Orioles are losing tonight. Mike, what's your feeling about that? Because things are getting bad now for Arizona. They're fighting about the ballpark, and now the team is just, horrible.
Well, it's funny because I looked over their roster because I saw their record, and I know baseball pretty well, and other than guys like Christian Walker and Ketel Marte, I didn't know many of these guys, and they traded Goldschmidt a couple years ago. They've really stripped that team bare. You've got a 40-year, or you've got a veteran like Baumgartner there, and really, it's an organization that should be ashamed of themselves. At least with the Orioles, you see guys like Mountcastle, you see guys like Mancini and a few other players that you say, okay, they're either good right now or they're going to be good. I don't see a lot there with the Diamondbacks.
Right.
It's just a struggling franchise.
No, that's fair. I mean, there's not a lot of good players beyond that with the Diamondbacks. I mean, their shortstop's good, but they're kind of hurting. I mean, that's a big deal. The Padres are 25 games out of first. Hard to believe how their season sort of imploded. Nikco, they had a lot of players, but they never had the pitching, I guess.
No, and they made that big splash, and A.J. Preller should be fired. Tingler should be fired. Everyone should be fired. That owner should be mad. Much money as they spent coming into the year to compete with the Dodgers. It was going to be 19 World Series games against the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers won maybe 15 out of the 19. Just dominated the Padres. The Padres have really fallen flat. Outside of Fernando Tatis and Machado, I mean, who comes to play every day? You can flip a coin. And it starts with the top. A.J. Preller, gone. Tingler in the dugout, gone. I sent an email to the San Diego Union asking the owner to give me a call directly, because I will take that job, manager and player, with full authority at my discretion when I decide to hit.
Okay. Mike, your thoughts about the White Sox? We were skeptical about Tony La Russa, but we knew they had players. They've had a great year. They started off slow with the bullpen. That's not a big problem now. Tim Anderson seems to be back to normal. Abreu as well. What do you think?
I mean, it's funny because looking at the records, the Yankees have a better record than the White Sox, and the White Sox are playing against a much easier division with teams like, Detroit's not a cakewalk, but Detroit and Minnesota and Kansas City, they should be. I mean, they're clearly the class of that division, obviously, and I think they have, a really good bullpen and a fairly solid rotation. They'll be a tough matchup in the playoffs, but I expected a little more out of them. And other than Abreu's hitting, who's got 29 home runs, and he's a former MVP, the only guy who's got more than 20 home runs is Yasmani Grandal. And I would say that La Russa might have a good case for manager of the year based on the fact if you look at the stats on some of these players. I don't know how they're winning. Their pitching is pretty good, and that's probably the reason why.
Nikco?
Yeah, La Russa has done it. I mean, he's got the White Sox in the position where he's doing his job. This is exactly why Reinsdorf hired him and gave him 1 year on the contract. I think he's got to get it. He's won the division. I don't see him going all the way and winning the whole thing just because the way they played the season out. I mean, they're very, very, here today, gone tomorrow. Abreu is not that same MVP player. Tim Anderson is having a good year. He's coming every day. But like I said, they just don't have enough horses. The players are not producing. They're producing enough to win the division, but they're in a bad division. So when it comes to the playoffs and really for the whole money, I just don't think they have enough horses.
Well, they don't have enough offensive horses. I agree with that, Nikco. But if you look at a team in a 5-game series who can throw out, Giolito, Lance Lynn, Carlos Rodon, and then the bullpen that they have, they could shut teams down. It's a question of, do they get enough offense? And we've seen it in the past where teams that don't have enough offense during the regular season get hot and they can win in the playoffs. But I would lean towards what Nikco is saying. They may not have enough offensive horses to get it done.
Okay, so let's talk about American League MVP. And it's an interesting race. We know Salvador Perez is not going to be in it, even though he's got 47 home runs leading the league. But we do have Vlad Guerrero Jr., Shohei Ohtani, and maybe Marcus Semien is now in that race. Should the Blue Jays turn something good here? I know Mike doesn't want to consider that, but you have to consider that. So, Mike, of the three, who are you leaning towards, or do you have a different one?
Well, I mean, everybody has said that Ohtani is the overwhelming favorite because not only is he, in the top 2 or 3 in home runs, he's third right now, 45 home runs. I think he was 7-1 the last time I looked as a starter. So, you've got that double whammy of, him being, they've talked about Babe Ruth. I'm so sick and tired of hearing that. He's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not diminishing the achievement that he has done. But I think he's hitting in the 260s. And Vlad Guerrero is close to being Triple Crown. I mean, he's got 46 home runs. He's hitting in the 320s, and I believe he's got over 100 RBI. So now, he's not going to win the Triple Crown because there are guys like Perez who's got 118 RBI, so he's got a lead, but he's close. And, Semien, he's got 44 home runs now. Guerrero's ahead of him. And the only thing I could say about Guerrero, that you could make a case against him is that over the last, I think, 3 or 4 games against Minnesota and the Yankees, he's 0 for 16. So he's cooling down at the absolute wrong time for him to cool down. But I think Nikco, I think his numbers, I understand, that this is generational. But Ohtani, again, I've said this with Mike Trout. Your team is not even competitive for a playoff spot. So that tells me you're not the MVP because your team is not good enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm starting to lean more towards Guerrero because he's a hitter, he's a player. That's what it was designed for. The MVP is the offense. And, give Ohtani the Cy Young if that's what you want to do. But, he doesn't qualify for the Cy Young, so he's only up for the MVP. And, it would be great to give it to him because it's the last year, for the DH, and it's kind of significant that he did it within the last year of the DH. It's something for the history of the game to remember that he did it before, with the DH, and he had to play DH. He wasn't just hitting for himself in the lineup.
Yep, okay, and I'm going to go Vlad Guerrero Jr. still because he is close to the Triple Crown. It's hard to win the Triple Crown. And now in an era where guys are really, the batting averages are generally bad, his isn't. So I think I have to go with Vlad Guerrero Jr. on this. I like the power numbers. Maybe he's 0 for 16, sure. I mean, it happens. But he is a big reason his team is still in it, right, Mike?
Yeah, and I mean, the funny thing is that you dismiss Salvador Perez, and I do too, because Kansas City's just as bad in terms of being competitive as the Angels are. But he's leading with 47 home runs, and he's leading with 118 RBIs. Now I don't know what his average is, but I think it's really. I think it's in the 270s, which is pretty good. 276. So you could make a case, but again, I've been of the opinion that if your team is
276, why the hell did you mention triple? Hold on. At 276, why did you mention Triple Crown? That was a while ago, I guess.
No. I'm just saying that he's leading in home runs and he's leading 2 of the 3 categories. He's just not leading in average.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you earlier. Okay.
No, Guerrero is hitting 320 and he's 1 home run behind him. So I think that's more impressive, hitting 320 and 46 home runs. I mean, that's
okay. You're confusing me. So Guerrero is hitting 320.
Guerrero's hitting 320.
That's
Perez is hitting 56.
Okay. See, I think that got a little muddy there. Okay. So yeah, so Guerrero, as high as that average is, and I saw there's a guy from the A's, I think, ahead of him. He's not going to win the Triple Crown, but at 320, that's pretty amazing right now with the way baseball is.
And just to update, just to curse him, Jose Barrios is pitching a perfect game right now. In the top of the fifth, he's pitching a perfect. He's through 2 outs in the 5th inning, and he's pitching a perfect game right now.
Well, that would just be sad if that happened, but anyhow, Yankees. Daddy.
So if he can do it against the Yankees, that's what the Blue Jays got him for. The Blue Jays have to win today. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, they're
it's a big win.
Well, it's not a win yet. So.
Yeah. No, I know. I was gonna say something, but then I saw you. It would be a big win. Yes.
Yes.
And I was just gonna say if it happens. Don't worry, Mike. I wasn't counting it as a win just yet. I know there's a few innings of.
Don't count your chickens, Russ.
Yeah, I know there's a few more innings of great Yankee baseball left.
And the perfect game has been broken. So there you go.
Yeah, of course. That's why you said it.
Exactly. Of course,
that's.
It's a shutout in hockey. There you go.
Yeah. No, the whole world knows that. We all played along. Nikco, give us an idea of where you're. What you're up to with the boxing, and who do you have sponsoring this episode?
Today's episode brought to you by Trejo Tacos. All right. Denny Trejo Machete has got a couple of franchises out here in L.A. and Hollywood selling tacos, and they're actually pretty good. All right. I like that Carnitas Tacos.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's a good actor, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's fun to be around him and maybe do some commercials. But about the boxing, I'm on day 34 of the workout. I've actually lost nearly 40 pounds. I've gone from 245 to 205, and I'm not quite ripped yet. It's still growing. I'm a work in process. So I'm doing my due diligence. I'm doing the work that's got to get done before I can even think about stepping in the ring.
No, but you're doing it. You're working hard, Mike. Tell us how your workout's going.
Well, I cannot go to the gym right now based on the fact that they still are requiring masks, and I can't work out with a mask. So until they don't allow masks, my workouts are walking around the park. That's not much of a workout.
Okay. We'll get back to you on that one. I did 1.6 miles today, so it's not my best, it's not my worst, but that's the way it goes. And that's it for the game, and we'll catch everybody next time.
My man.